Systems of equations. In this video, you'll learn how to describe what it means to find a solution of a system of linear equations. You'll also learn how to explain how the solution is represented graphically. Let's start by looking at systems of equations. A system of equations is a set of equations that represent multiple constraints on the same situation. So for example, if we had 1/4 and 2 dimes, we can write Q plus D equals 3 to represent the amount of coins we have, since we only have quarters and dimes. We can also write an equation about the value of the coins. So we could write 25Q plus 10D equals 45, since quarters are 25 cents and dimes are 10 cents. A solution to a system of equations is a pair of values that make both equations true. So if we go back to our coins, the solution would be the number of quarters and dimes we have that make both equations true. We already know that the answer to this would be 1, 2 because we have a picture of the coins, but we can confirm by putting these numbers into our equation. If we replace Q with 1 and D with 2, then we can see that 1 plus 2 equals the 3 that we have. And if we replace them in the second equation, then we'll be left with 25 plus 20 gives us the 45 cents that we have. So the solutions you find must work for both equations. The solution of a system can be found by graphing both lines and then locating the intersection of the lines. So if we have a graph showing two lines representing equations, then the intersection of those lines would represent the solution to that system of equations. Let's look at an example. A costume designer needs silver and gold thread for the school play. She needs a total of 5 yards and $7 to spend. Silver thread is $2 a yard and gold thread is $1 a yard. How much of each thread can she buy? So we know that she's going to buy some silver and some gold thread, and altogether she needs 5 yards. We also know that she has exactly $7 to spend, so we'll use this information to create a system. We'll start by labeling our variables. We'll call X the yards of silver thread and Y the yards of gold thread. Since we know that she wants to buy 5 yards, our first equation would be X plus Y equals 5, since X represents the silver thread and Y represents the gold thread. The next equation we make will talk about the amount of money she has to spend. We know silver thread is $2 a yard, so we can represent this as 2x. And we know that gold thread is $1 a yard, so we'll represent this as 1y. Since she has exactly $7 to spend, we'll set this equal to 7. Now we have a system of equations that represents this situation, so we can graph both of the equations and find the intersection. But these equations are currently in standard form. We'll have to put them in slope-intercept form first to graph them. So we'll start by putting these equations in slope-intercept form by solving for y. So in the first equation of x plus y equals 5, we'll subtract x from both sides to get y by itself. So we have y is equal to negative x plus 5. Now let's look at 2x plus 1y equals 7. We'll start by subtracting 2x on each side. That gives us 1y is equal to negative 2x plus 7. Since 1y is the same as just y, we'll write it as y equals negative 2x plus 7. Now we have both of our equations in slope-intercept form, so we can graph them. We'll start with our first equation of y equals negative x plus 5. Our y-intercept in this equation is 5. So our first dot will go on the 5 on the y-axis. Our slope is the number in front of the x, and currently it just has a negative sign. If there's not a number in front of x, we'll always assume that it's 1. So in this case, it will be negative 1. So this tells us to go down 1 and over 1 unit to get to the next point. And we'll do that again so we can see where the lines are heading. Now we'll connect the dots to form a line for this equation. Now we'll look at the next equation. This time our y-intercept is 7. So we'll put our first dot on 7 on the y-axis. Our slope is -2, so we'll go down 2 units and over 1. And then we'll repeat this so we can see where it's heading. Now we'll connect the dots to form the line. So now that we have the two lines, we can see that the intersection happens at the point 2, 3. So if our solution to this problem is 2, 3, then it tells us that she can buy 2 yards of silver thread and 3 yards of gold thread. A school sells tickets to a fundraiser. Students' tickets cost $2 and adult tickets cost $4. The school sold a total of 12 tickets and raised $40. How many tickets of each were sold? To solve this, we'll need to make a system of equations for this situation, but first we'll label our variables. Let's call X the student tickets, and we'll call Y the adult tickets. We know that the school sold a total of 12 tickets, so we can write our first equation as X plus Y equals 12. The next equation will tell us how much money they earned, so we know that student tickets cost $2. So we can represent this as 2x. Adult tickets cost $4, so we can write this as 4y. And altogether they raised $40. So we'll set our equation equal to 40. And now we have a system of equations to represent the situation. To find the solution, we'll have to graph both of these equations. But first we'll have to take them from standard form and put them in slope-intercept form. So we'll put both of our equations in slope-intercept form by solving each equation for y. So we'll subtract x from both sides, giving us y is equal to -x plus 12. Now let's look at 2x plus 4y equals 40. We'll start by subtracting 2x from each side. This gives us 4y is equal to -2x plus 40. And then we'll divide both sides by the coefficient of 4, giving us y is equal to -1/2 x plus 10. Now that we have both of our equations in slope-intercept form, we can graph them. In the first equation, our y-intercept is 12. So we'll put our first dot on 12 on the y-axis. And our slope is -1. So we'll go down 1 over 1 to form our next dot. And then we'll go down 1 over 1 again so we can see the line. Now we'll connect the dots to form the line for this equation. Next, let's look at y equals -1/2 x plus 10. Our y-intercept is 10. So we'll put our first dot at 10 on the y-axis. Our slope is -1/2. That means that we'll go down 1 and over 2 units to the next point. And we'll go down 1 over 2 again so we can see where the line forms. Now when we connect these dots, we see where the line should form. Our intersection of these two lines happens at the point 4, 8. So the point 4, 8 in this problem tells us that the school must have sold 4 student tickets and 8 adult tickets. Now let's recap what we've learned. 2 or more equations that represent the constraints in the same situation forms a system of equations. The solution to a system of equations is a pair of values that makes all of the equations in the system true. Graphing the equations is one way to find the solution to a system of equations.